Well, you found your way to my overall Season 2 review. I'm not going to be talking about too much specifics in this one. I do want to talk about, like, the Seasons Pass and stuff like that, and I guess I should start there, probably. But I'll be talking about specifics more throughout the next few days. So, let's talk Seasons Pass. I think that the Seasons Pass is a lot better, as you can already see if you're familiar with the first Seasons Pass. I mean, there's so much more actual collectible and customizable items. It's nice that they actually are putting content in their content, unlike they did with season one's season pass. So I'm glad to see that. Challenges are pretty much the same. I'm actually glad to see more specific game modes coming in, because with things like King of the Hill coming in, and we have Fiesta still, and Tactical Slayer, and Team Slayer, all these specific game modes that aren't just a part of a mosh pit, like, well, Rumble Pit or Quick Play. That's really nice for challenge completion. It means that more of these challenges are about that. I mean, you have free-for-all matches. You can specifically select free-for-all, another free-for-all one. Capture Zone, that one's still going to be annoying to do, because that one is dependent upon chance getting into a match of, I want to say, domination, because that's basically the type of game mode it is. I can't remember what Halo calls it, but my point being is that adding new content is nice. I just wish that we wouldn't have had to wait so long for all this, obviously, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I think that King of the Hill is awesome. I'll be doing a specific review of that later. I think that Last Spartan Standing is pretty good, and again, I'll be doing a specific review of that later. I think that overall they have a lot of cool ideas being added. I just wish that they would spend more time on something like custom games, and getting custom games not only fixed, but getting Forge in the mix, and getting everything like that operating. And I know we do have a timeline for Forge, but can I just say, it is slightly concerning that Forge mode has now officially been labeled as a beta when it comes out in September, which September is not 9 months out from the game's original release. It's actually later, so it's at some point along the line that I didn't realize it got delayed again for a second time, and it's now being called a beta. The delaying again is a thing that's, I mean, that's obviously, like, that's annoying and it's a bummer. I understand that they have to work on it, though, and I would rather it come out very, very good than come out earlier than it should. So as long as they make a really damn good Forge mode, I'm not going to be too upset about it, as long as we do eventually get it. But the waiting still sucks. But the more concerning thing is the beta, and they said that it's not going to affect anything or something like that, but I don't know, that just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're declaring it as a beta, that means you're expecting it to have issues, and you're not done with it yet. And that's concerning. At that point, in September, this game came out in November. In September, at that point, you're talking about almost a full year. You're talking 10 months of this game being out. And oh wait, no, sorry, I have to take back what I said. I just realized that I was thinking November, the not the full release, the surprise release. But from the full release in December, it would actually be 9 months. So it hadn't been delayed again. But it is now being declared as a beta, which still, 9 months after the game's release, having Forge release as a beta is just a red flag for me, on top of many other red flags, or at least yellow flags, that have been happening with this game. But sadly, it is just really a red flag to be seeing that beta put in front of the Forge mode that we were initially promised would be there 6 months after release. Actually, we initially expected it to be on release, and then it was 6 months, then it was 9 months, and now it's still 9 months, but also it's a beta. It's not going to be just Forge, it's Forge beta. I don't know, it's just the continuous bad news updates. It's like it never stops with 343, and I want to have hope. I continue putting my faith in them and trusting that they will get their act together. And yet, here we are again, back in the same boat, talking about bad news for the future, as we commonly are. It's just bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news. That started a few months before the release of the game, where before that it was like bad news and good news thrown together, and it was to a point where I feel like a lot of people could reasonably have faith in 343 Industries. But now it's just, the current state of Halo Infinite, to me, is just bad news is now the normal. It's what we come to expect at this point. Because sadly, hearing that the Forge mode was a beta did not surprise me at all, and that saddens me to say, but it didn't. So, am I happy with Season 2? I guess, since that's the point of this video, and I've kind of been talking about the state of Halo Infinite as a whole, it's mixed. It's mixed feelings. I like the new content. I appreciate the game modes that they're adding. The gameplay loop is still very fun. I appreciate the customizables that they're adding. As always, I think that their armor designs are actually really cool. I think that they're worth some... There's some awesome things in there. I think that they're getting better. Let me actually see what this week's is. Yeah, it's another coding. They're getting better about weeklies, probably catering that to more of what people want. They're getting better about having actual content in their Battle Pass, as opposed to just free Battle Pass levels contained in their Battle Pass, with XP boosts like this one right here. Obviously, it still exists, but it's nowhere near as heavy, because there's just a lot more customizable options. And that's really what we want from Halo. I mean, I really want to see some awesome Spartan designs out there, and I wanted to see them on day one, but for the first few months of this game, until they started producing free events, it was just normal, bland Spartans running around. And this game has been a struggle. It's getting its feet under it a little bit, right? I think Season 2 has helped it catch itself a little bit. But at the same time, the future news about the future of Season 2 and what's going to continue to happen throughout Season 2, some of it is just plain out disappointing news that is honestly kind of heartbreaking to hear. And some of it is kind of mediocre news. And we don't know anything about what's to come with Season 3 yet, but that's not what this video is about, obviously. It's just the future of Season 2 looks somewhat bleak and somewhat mediocre, but the launch of Season 2 was, I would say it was pretty good. It's fun. I've enjoyed playing the new game modes. I think Last Spartan Standing is a cool idea. I think the spin that they've put on King of the Hill, where the way the hill works for a team game as opposed to a free-for-all game, is nice. I just wish that they would have both. I mean, I don't understand why they don't have the assets to have both King of the Hill's free-for-all classic King of the Hill, and then the team King of the Hill with this spin on it, and Last Spartan Standing. Awesome. Again, I love it. Can we get more ideas like Last Spartan Standing? Like, that's an innovative, interesting idea. For the Halo standard, it's decent, with a mixture of tons of different things like gun game and an enclosing map like from Battle Royales. It's interesting. I like the idea. I want more original ideas like that, and they're really missing out on an opportunity to have the community make that kind of stuff for them, because they still haven't fixed custom games as they should. That's just sad to me. I mean, Season 2's here, and they still haven't fixed custom games entirely, and Forge mode still isn't here. And those two things combined is really what we need to begin making community content, but it's like they still won't let us, even at the break of Season 2. So anyways, I've been talking for a little bit. I'm going to cut this video here. I don't want to make it too long. Those are just my general thoughts on the surface of Season 2. I'll be getting into some of the specifics with videos coming out here pretty soon. Simple stuff, me just voiceovering gameplay. As this one was just me voicing over the menu, I apologize that there wasn't anything going on in the background. I just wanted to be able to focus instead of just purely rambling. But I do have to say, the next video you see me making on Halo Infinite will be focusing on one of my more enjoyable parts of Season 2, which is the maps that they added. I wish we could have even more maps, but I am actually quite fond of the 2 maps that they added, and I'll be talking about that within the coming days. So again, thank you for watching. Go do something that makes you uncomfortable, because it'll make you more comfortable in your own shoes, and I will catch you in the next one.